Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dylan Distorted back with another hilarious video! Today we're going to be covering r/Tales from Tech Support. It's top priority if I say it is. Not anymore. I work a tier 1 service desk with offices around the world. Because of the size of the company, it's got a huge network infrastructure and more rules than the Old Testament. One rule that was updated recently was the old customer service commandment. It's whatever priority the customer says it is, even if it's not. Somehow, someone, probably named Karen, figured that out and told everyone around her that if they call and say it's top priority, then we have to treat it like top priority. No more lines or waiting. We got bombarded with calls on the priority or outage lines from people who opened up saying, "This is a top priority issue," when all they needed was a password reset or a passphrase for the encryption. Most we could handle, but some we didn't have a choice but to escalate using the high priority protocol, which includes calling the on-call for the group we're escalating to. I got a lot of talkback from those on-calls and had to remind them the policy that it's top priority if the caller says it is. So after a couple of days of this, a mass email went out to all employees that high priority issues are outages or major work stoppages, not run-of-the-mill technical problems. Management came back and said we now have the discretionary authority to decide if something is high priority or not. This means we can use our own judgment now. I'm still reeling from it. We got a few Karens calling in trying to push a high priority issue, but they were talked down when it was explained the policy was changed and we decided if they're high priority or not. So for about a week, the new system was working out better since we could make a call based on how bad the problem was. It wasn't difficult to make a top priority call and management seemed okay with the new setup. Then I get a call. Keep in mind I work the weekend third shift, so it's Saturday morning at 2 a.m. CDT. User, some guy in the Philippines who's trying to get into a specific group mailbox. Me, like I gotta tell you. "Thank you for calling Big Ass Company Help Desk. This is Weird in Chicago. What can I help you with today?" "I'm trying to get into a group mailbox. I'm supposed to have access to it for my job, but I can't connect." "Were you granted access to it?" "Sure, my manager said it was taken care of." "Okay, let me remote in and take a look." I remote into his computer and attempt to add this mailbox to his Outlook. The error I get tells me, "Unable to open default folders. You do not have permissions to log on." So that means he doesn't have permissions. I look up the mailbox owner. She's a member of upper management in the company's financial department. I look up users group and he's not a member of the finance team. He's a consultant working on the Asia Pacific help desk. He's basically the same as I am. "Did you request permissions for the mailbox?" "Yeah, I did." "What's the request number?" He reads off the request number and I pull it up to see that the request for access to the mailbox was submitted to the owner of the mailbox and it was turned down because the requester was not a member of the correct department to have access to that mailbox. "Alright, I think I see the problem. The owner of the box denied you because you are not a member of the correct department to have access to it. It's possible you might have submitted the request to the incorrect mailbox name. If you get the correct mailbox name, you can submit a new request and have access." "That's not acceptable. I need to get into this mailbox. It's part of my job to have access to this information." The mailbox is controlled by the finance department in North America. You're part of the Asia Pacific service desk. I'm part of the North American service desk and I don't have access to that box. It's probably a mistake. "Listen, this is a top priority issue. You need to get me into that box right now. So if you have to call the owner of the box to correct this, then you have to call her." "Excuse me?" "You heard me. This is a top priority issue. You need to contact the owner of the mailbox." Are you aware of the change of the procedure for top priority issues? As a service desk employee, you might have gotten the email. That process has now been changed. We can use our own discretion to judge an issue's priority, and this issue is not a high priority. "It's a top priority if I say it is." Not anymore. "Are you refusing to make this a high priority?" That I am. This issue is not a high priority. In fact, when this call ends, I'm closing the ticket. What you need to do is contact your manager and put in a request for the correct mailbox. "This is not a mistake. I need to get into this mailbox to do my job. You have to call the mailbox owner and get me in." No, I'm not going to contact that mailbox owner. It's 2 in the morning here. She's at home asleep and has already denied you access to the mailbox. I'm not going to wake her up after she already denied you the first time. You need to sort this out with your manager, get the correct mailbox, and put in a new request. User hangs up. I closed the ticket, but I got an IM from one of my colleagues asking me about permissions for a mailbox run by the financial department. I asked a few probing questions and realized he called back and tried to get another person to help him get into the mailbox. I let it be known to my colleagues what happened and advised them to refer the user to his manager. The phone rang 2 more times with the caller ID showing an overseas number similar to the one used by the user. But when I answered, the caller hung up. A little later, I got a call from someone in the Middle Eastern help desk in UAE. They want to transfer a call to me, a top priority call to get access to a mailbox run by a group in North America. They can't help, so wanted to transfer him. I'd read back the name, and when the UAE analyst confirmed it, I explained what happened, and this guy is just trying to get into a mailbox he's already been denied access to. He probably has the wrong mailbox name and needs to get this sorted out with his manager. The UAE agent thanked me and probably told the user what I did. Just to be careful, I sent my manager an email with the related ticket numbers and explained we have been getting a lot of calls from this person to get into a box he has no rights to. Nothing wrong with a little CYA. A couple days later, I get an email back from my boss complimenting me on the discretion in this matter. The person I would have woken up was a major person in the company, and management was glad they decided to trust our judgment. The message concerning top and high priority calls went out again to all employees with an emphasis that some people are still calling in claiming their issue is high priority when it's not. I don't know what happened to user, but I'm hoping this manager got wind of those calls and talked to him about what he did and got the mailbox straightened out. I need access to this mailbox. You were denied access by the person in charge of it. I need access to this mailbox. Didn't you hear me? You were denied to have access. Okay. I need access to this mailbox. Oh my god.
أحتاج إلى الوصول إلى صندوق البريد هذا.
We tried to help an old lady. She brought in her lawyer. Older story, been debating posting this for a while. A couple of years ago, I worked for a small computer store in the city. We also offered repair services, and we were pretty well known in the area. One of our regulars, an older lady in her 70s, comes in one day complaining about not having video from her computer. It works perfect when we try, so she brings in her monitor. That's when we get no picture like she described. So at this point, we know that the issue is not with the computer itself. So we hook her monitor up to an old Power Mac, and it works like a charm. The problem is that the adapter she uses to hook her PC to the monitor has died. This is where things start getting hairy. See, the monitor this old lady is using is an old Apple Cinema display that uses some old proprietary connector, literally called the Apple Display Connector. Her computer is a Windows PC. That's where the adapter comes in. It converts the proprietary connection to a usable standard like VGA. This isn't the Apple Display port either, it's older than that. Just replace the adapter and you're done, right? Unfortunately for her, and us, the only company left that made these adapters was either forced out of the market or sued. I think it was the latter. I don't really remember. Point is, these adapters no longer exist for a reasonable price. When we tell her this, the lady freaks out. I'm talking putting banshees to shame. She's shouting things like, "You promised to fix it!" and "Dirty liars!" Like, lady, we can't get you something that isn't produced anymore, and is getting scalped on eBay for $300+. Lucky for me, I'm in the back working a different repair. It's my poor boss who has to deal with her. At this point, my boss tries to compromise by swapping her old Apple display for a new standard PC one that has the same screen in it. For some reason, giving her an almost free monitor, albeit trading for her old one, makes her even angrier. The whole thing ends when she pulls the "I'll be back with my lawyer" line and walks out the door without her computer. Believe me, I wish the story ended here, but no such luck. Next day, I'm working inventory. You can see the front desk from the inventory room, when this old lady walks in, followed by the spiffy looking dude in a suit and tie. Takes me a minute to put 2 and 2 together and figure out that she actually came back with a friggin' lawyer. My boss is actually mad now. At first, he calmly explains the issue and that he tried to work a compromise that worked heavily in her favor. But then, a shouting match ensues after a comment that I couldn't hear. Now I feel bad for her lawyer, who looks like he already smells her bullshit and is trying to wedge himself into an argument between a little old lady and my boss, who is a full head taller than him and looks like death when he's mad. What I do hear is the old lady saying, "I'm not threatening your business or anything," to which my boss responds, "You're the definition of a threat to a business when you walk into an establishment with your lawyer." A moment of silence, then, "Get out of my store." Fortunately, that was the last we heard from her. She and the lawyer walked out the door without another word. Actually, the lawyer walked, the old lady stomped out. She got to keep her useless monitor, but she never did pick up her computer. Because of our policy that is taped to the front desk in several places, in plain view, and in a document with her signature, her computer became part of our stock because she didn't take it back within the 60-day period. Teal deer. Old lady freaks out about an adapter for an Apple monitor. We try to compromise in her favor. She blows up and brings in her lawyer. I just don't understand why we can't sue. Because they didn't do anything. Who didn't? Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All the stories are linked in the description. Let me know in the comments your favorite subgenre of metal. Wrong answers only.